Morning all. The London Chess Classic is over. I played in two events, the Super Rapid, so that had some of the elite players in the world playing in it, like Nakamura, and I also played in the FIDE Open, which is just finished now, so I'm happy to report on some of the games that were quite interesting. Now here, in round 7 of the London Super Rapid, my opponent had actually taken score of the game, and I took a photo of his score sheet with the iPhone with his permission. And I said I'll try and do a video on this. So this is a very interesting game. Christopher J, his first name's Archer Lock. So Archer Lock Christopher J. Okay, he was playing white. It's about 2020. So this is round 7. So E4, I play the Caracan. D4, D5. Took on D5. I took back C4. And yeah, I played a move which isn't in live book, probably not surprisingly. I thought, wouldn't it be fun to sort of play like an Albin counter gambit? I played E5. I'm not entirely sure this is sound, but I thought because it's rapid, you can take more risks in rapid, because although it was with increments of 10 seconds increment per move as well, but I thought you could take more risks because if you can get your opponent thinking more in the opening phase and improvising, you know, that can pay dividends later for time pressure. So D takes D4. It reminds me a bit of the Albin counter gambit, but probably a much worse version, I suspect. The engine has it as nearly +1 as you'd expect for white. Nf3 Nc6. A3. It looks very much the same sort of plan as though you would play against the Albin counter gambit. In fact, this position does strike me as the same position. Funny enough, looking at it now, if we just look at live book here, no, it's not the same position. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Albin counter gambit as a new variation. So white's got that E pawn. It's got two E pawns there, double E pawns there. So there's a big difference actually. So black's missing an E pawn and white's got the two E pawns there. In this position, white hasn't actually got two E pawns, but black is missing the C pawn. So black's missing the C pawn, not the E pawn. So yeah, there's some differences here. So how do they translate? Okay, let's see. Nf3 Nc6, A3 A5, Bishop E2, Bishop E7, white castles, and I strike with G5. This is actually given as one of the top engine choices here, G5. Although it looks crazy, I think, you know, to play G4 and try and win the pawn back, it seems quite logical. So an interesting game. H4. Interesting, trying to provoke me to GH. I think this knight on G8 is particularly miserable. This would be a good advantage for white. I think I played a slightly stronger G4, just aiming for more central influence. Knight G5. Knight takes E5. Bishop F4. And, okay, I got my pawn back. It's interesting. And now I play aggressively again. F5, as I'm going to play F4 potentially, or just develop a piece. Maybe that would be useful as well for knight E4 later or H6 later. When the knight's not covering E4, knight E4, knight D2. And I thought this was a blunder when he played knight D2, but I think he actually meant it. Instead of knight D2, another move just more simple, and perhaps bishop D3 or rook E1. But he played knight D2. And provoked me to play D3. I thought this was like, is this a blunder? A weakness in the last move. But he plays bishop takes G4, takes, and now H5. It's quite a dangerous position. If I move this knight away, then white's, although black's material up, all the material looks to be sitting back here too much. So I took on G5 though. That's an option. And yeah, I thought there was no problem here necessarily. Knight E4. Okay, there's a threat of knight D6. So I play my bishop back. Rook E1. And now against this, it looks a bit scary, but maybe I could just move my king, or even invite it with bishop f5. Apparently this is okay as well. I played a different move, rook a6. I thought this was nicely covering things. So I was confident at this stage. I didn't think anything was particularly that dangerous, except I haven't really castled yet, but this rook might be useful on the attack. c5, king f8, getting out of that pin. Rook e3, so this looks dangerous to try and get down the d file. I played queen d5. I think this is a good move, restraining white for a moment. f3 and causing a weakness on this diagonal. Bishop f5. I'm not sure this is the best move. In fact, the engine gives d2 here, and if here, then just taking here. This should be good for black. But I played this bishop f5. He took on d3. I took here. Takes. Or I have to cover d8. I felt I have to cover d8. So I played queen c7. This is actually given as one of the top moves here. Well, it also looks at h2. It doesn't really cover d8. It invites rook d8. Another move apparently is this. That's okay. It's not totally lost after that or anything. So queen c7, looking at h2. Check. And I thought, yeah, this must be really good. And he's getting short of time. This surely must be good. How can this go wrong for black? Apparently, the top move here is to play king f7 in this position. So, for example, check, bishop e6. This is okay for black. We're talking nearly +3 technically. I played here. I thought this was great to evict this rook, but now a very powerful move from my opponent starts to give me quite a bit of concern here in this position. He played actually queen d4. In fact, the top engine move is that's the second engine move. Queen d5 is the top one, which is interesting as well. So if takes, it's taking here, and the black king's a bit exposed, and they're still attacking pieces against the king here. But his move is also very quite dangerous, looking at h8. So I was getting a bit concerned here. If I played, like, say, knight f6, then you can just take that rook. If I play here, then again, just takes the rook. So if I play, probably a good move is this here, just immediately rook f6 to block that diagonal. But I slipped up a little bit here. I didn't find this move in this position. I played actually g3. In fact, let's look at queen takes d8. Why this is dangerous. I thought queen g7 was dangerous, but just queen takes h8 again here, and the king's kind of exposed. And the evaluation drops to equal, believe it or not, in this position. So like this, it's going to be perpetual check time. So that would be quite annoying. The king dare not step out, I think, because then it's in big trouble. This sort of position, there's a check here. So say here, rook e1. This starts to get quite nasty for the black king. You can see how this is all backfired with this extra knight not meaning anything. So you can see, white's pieces can potentially spring to life, it seems, in this position. There's plenty of weaknesses to pounce on. So anyway, I played g3, which is not the best, I think, and my opponent played bishop e3, so the bishop's now got this lethal looking check if I took. I was starting to panic here. I think I've blown this, haven't I? How can I cover all my dark square issues? And if I take here now, yeah, this is actually quite dangerous for black with these checks, but maybe black's holding it apparently with queen d5. It's scary though. It's unnecessarily scary for when it needed to be earlier. I play rook f6 here, which is a mistake now. Apparently, yeah, this taking here is actually the best move to invite this for queen d5. I think I was also concerned about queen g7s during the game, but apparently with king e6 this is okay. This position is okay for black. Okay, so yeah, rook f6 here, and white is suddenly doing very well after bishop g5. even this is like a token knight up. Sorry, well, yes, it is kind of token knight up. But you can see if queen takes, well, I did play queen takes d8. That's probably the best move in the circumstance. If king f7, then unfortunately bishop takes f6, and you can see it's a dark square disaster with this pin over here. Rook takes h8 and protecting d8. It's a total dark square disaster. So yeah, I played queen takes d8. I don't know really what else to play here. So queen takes d8, and he plays check, and his clock, I can see his clock, he hasn't actually got that many seconds to generate the 10 seconds again. I played bishop e6 and then realised something horrible when playing this, that white's got a horrible resource here. And I was extremely fortunate. My opponent simultaneously ran out of time and played queen b6 in the process, blundering his queen. But can you see what white could play in this final position? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video now, what white to play? Alright, chess is very cruel. Rook takes e6, shows the power of the white pieces. So if takes, win the queen here. Apparently best is king f7. Clearly this is miserable to lose the queen. Now if taking, then I'll be protecting the queen. So I would have to lose the queen in the position. With king f7 takes. Whoops. Takes. Rook takes e6, and clearly I'm not doing very well here. Although I am threatening a mate in 1. This is now in white's favour. Check, 97. It's in white's favour. Possibly I would have been able to grovel on for a bit, because it's actually plus 1.25. I mean, it's not totally the end of the world, but clearly white's in the driving seat. So a bit of luck here, then he actually ran out of time on the increment. But a dramatic game, for which I'm glad he took the score of the game, so it's very easy to construct accurately. Okay, I hope you got something from that. A bit of luck there in that rapid game in round 7, to be honest. And okay, comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.